I'm not following you.
You're not following me? My students should be doing their...
hear music? That's what
let her finish. My students, they should be in bed at an appropriate time at night. If there's a lot of commotion going outside that they can hear and they're not able to get their sleep in, yes, it will take and bother them the next morning.
Well, and we did, several of us who wrote letters to express concern that this is a bedroom community with a lot of commuters that are getting up at 4 a.m. in the morning to get down to the Southland, and the rumor has it that this establishment will be frequented by motorcyclists, and so there's that noise too. And even if it's not motorcycles going by, if it's still 10 o'clock at night, then is that going to be disruptive to the community?
The other issue was the hours of operation in relation to serving alcohol. Initially, he had mentioned that he might start serving alcohol at 6 a.m. in the morning, and there's 3 or 4 bus stops located within just a few hundred feet.
Yeah, the draft conditions limited to 11 a.m. until closing. So that was...
But still, there are children out there.
May I say something?
Just a minute, not yet. There's plenty of people in front of you. I've got tons of people I got to call on yet. But I need you to address some of this question. How do you feel about what they were asking? About the hours? Children need to do homework at night. They need to go to bed early. And if you have music, they can't do that.
Well, like Andrew was saying, we don't have no live music. That's not going to bother you.
Well, no live music.
When you say
how loud is
bothering people, I mean,
how loud is the music going to be that you're playing on a CD player, for instance?
we never turn the volume full up where everybody can hear it. That's not what we're all about.
Was it going to be noticeable from outside of the building? No. Anybody outside of the building?
No,
What about from the tent?
there's not going to be music out there.
No.
No.
Okay. All right. Cameron, I know you have.
Well, my question was, why can't the hearing that we're going to have on March 4th be moved up here to locally? Because I noticed that Quartz Hill is going to have a target put in there, and they were able to get the hearings moved locally so that the residents can attend. It was very difficult for us to get down to that hearing, so we didn't make it. We had emergencies and things that we had, and we would have loved to have been able to go. So is there any possibility that the hearing on March 4th could be moved locally where it would be easier for us to attend?
Why don't we let Norm?
Well, let me explain. The hearing that you're addressing about the Walmart and the Targets, that is through the Lancaster City Planning Commission. So that's what was going to be heard regardless. It wasn't moved up here or moved closer to the, well, it was just local. So it's the city that has to make that decision. It has nothing to do with the council.
So
They call that Quartz Hill centers, but the centers are really in the city of Lancaster.
Technically in the city of Lancaster jurisdiction.
They're not in the unincorporated area.
So there's no way they can make an exception and not make us
Very,
put
very,
it to LA.
it's very, very difficult to move the entire planning commission up here. It's not just moving a meeting, you're probably moving 100 people for a special session. So it's very expensive for the taxpayers. It's very hard to do because you have to coordinate the schedules of the planning commission.
And if I can just respond really quickly, I think the Planning Commission realizes the reality of this, and this is why they've leaned so heavily on your town council to prepare recommended draft conditions. And so I realize and notice, I mean, you don't have a whole lot of time. You have about 2 weeks, but whatever. I mean, they're going to be looking for what they have to say. I mean, the letters, you know, they look at letters, but there's nothing like an official position. And the reason they were not ready to make a decision last time was they weren't sure what the community's official position was. And so they're hoping that another meeting up here with the town council would get them to that point. And I mean, they can make a decision, but they're trying to really know what this community feels, and I think you can accomplish that through your town council.
Okay, we have a question.
I unfortunately just recently found out about this proposal bar, so I wasn't able to make any of the meetings. One question, is this already a done deal? Is this going to go through?
My understanding, Mr. Morales, you tell me if I understand this correctly or not, is that you can open an ED establishment anytime you so desire, but it's the alcohol permit that you have wanted that you have to go through the CUP.
Everything has to go through the CUP when you have all.
Right, but you could have opened just a restaurant without alcohol.
Well, actually, we didn't know that. The way we had it set up was for, both of them to be at the same time.
Right, I understand that, but in hindsight, you have found out that you could have opened, or you could open a restaurant right now without alcohol.
When I opened my place 16 years ago in Palmdale, I paid the restaurant license and the alcohol license at the same time, and then they do a background check on you, and then after that, then it was a done deal.
Was your place in Palmdale, or was that a restaurant license or a bar license?
Well, I had both. You can have both. You can have a restaurant license and an alcohol
How would
license.
you
or beer license.
how would you describe that establishment? As a family restaurant or a bar?
Well, it was pretty much family. We had a very diverse crowd that came in there. We had younger people, elderly people, a lot of people. We were not a biker bar, that's for sure.
The reputation you have.
Well, things get blown out of proportion, and I think we had bikes maybe once a week, maybe twice a week at the most.
So at any hours of operation, that would have been a place where I would want to take my family, including my granddaughter.
It was a safe place. I ate there every day.
You owned it.
Well, I could have went somewhere else.
Mr. Morales, are you affiliated with the Boggle Smoke Factory?
No, I'm not.
You're not affiliated with them?
No, sir. I'm not a Boggle.
You're not a Boggle?
No.
You don't affiliate with them?
I'm friendly. I talk to everyone. I talk to sheriffs. I talk to everybody.
Of course,
I'm a friendly guy.
The Boggles frequented the Cactus, and I know that they are considered by law enforcement to be an outlaw motorcycle gang. So you find residential vapors, if you sign off on this, you can expect folks like that to frequent that restaurant. That's not, possible. It's most definitely.
The probability is very high.
Okay, so it doesn't matter that he worked for the telephone company for 29 years?
Sir, we have, I don't know how many
Well,
other
he's
people.
the president of the character.
Sir, you raise your hand, I'll be more than happy to call on you after I call on other people that have had their hands up before you. Because I have 3 or 4 over here, I'll be more than happy to call you. So, Paul.
I don't know where the idea got started that I was in favor of this. Right from the very beginning, I didn't like it. And I know from past experience that when that music, in the summertime especially, and the music from the bar, you couldn't get to sleep. And it didn't stop at any 10 o'clock. It went on until at least 2. And that was a friendly bar.
Well, that may have been, ma'am. I can't speak for the previous people that were there before. That's not what I'm all about.
Okay.
We do consider everybody, and we respect everyone that comes into the establishment. We don't tolerate trouble. If they're going to be troublemakers, we ask them to leave. If they don't leave, then they get the sheriff. So they get to be arrested and thrown out of the place. That's how I've always handled my establishment at the previous location.
Okay, I still, unless it was just a straight restaurant with no booze at all, I would approve that, but not with any beer bar or wine.
To those of you